Hello? I think we're live. Thank you, Hootie, for the 𝗙𝗢𝗡𝗡 spam. How's it going, guys? Welcome, welcome. I'm sure many of you... I'm starting out, guys, a little... well, it's a mixed bag. So I'm starting out easy for you guys, but also pseudo-hard. There's a reason for that. So, as opposed to some people who might be familiar with my regular streams where I do like 20 things at once, which I will be doing, I'm kind of going to do somewhat of a tutorial for shiny hunting. So hopefully you guys will learn a bit about shiny hunting. I think shiny hunting in general, to many people, is very intimidating. Let's make sure mic's good, okay. Because people are like, oh, it's like a bajillion and one odds. Like, oh no. And it's like, well, in some games, yes, and other games, no. Sometimes it's actually pretty easy, or relatively easy. Also, apologies to the crew. I'll probably be moving some... I'll be switching scenes a few times, but at some point I'll be on a static scene, but I put things in a spot where the ticker should be good for the counter, that is. But yeah, so hopefully you guys might actually gain interest in shiny hunting. Yes, this is Fire Red and Leaf Green. So we're going to start out with... I'm going to go through kind of generation, and then we're just going to kind of bring it all together, ideally. So, but yeah, so like I said, shiny hunting, it's one of my favorite hobbies. It's pretty fun. It's pretty mindless, like fun, like, well, relatively fun. It's kind of like a mostly mindless task where it's like, okay, you kind of just do an aside while you're like playing other games or something, or just doing other things. Or, you know, some things that can be that way. No ring fit, sorry, yeah. But that's okay. Hopefully my audio is good. I'll turn this up a little bit for music. But yeah, so we're starting in Fire Red and Leaf Green. This is a dual setup. I'm using GameCube players for people like, what's with this wacky border? I know it's space themed, but you know. But yeah, that's the old GameCube player. Oh, that's not good. Hold on. Of course. Oh, one of them's not working properly. Hold on. Let's see what's going on with you, buddy. Not cooperating, huh? I see how it is. Of course. This one I have everything's like working fine. That's like technical difficulties. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know if Gear or anyone's the tech people here. I think it's fine if I restart the stream, right? It doesn't affect, because you guys are live, right? Let's see.
You can restart if you need to, yeah.
Okay, cool, thanks. I think that might be the fix for this one because it's annoying, but... alright.
No worries.
I'll be right back real quick.
While he's away, chat, don't forget the commands for merch in chat, the schedule, and donate. Definitely want to keep those donation numbers moving. I'm really glad we hit that 1 million mark over the last couple years, but let's continue to make this event our best event yet. Let's see, I'm waiting for Fred to come back here. I don't know if there's anything else that you, let's see, I have a sheet right here, of course. The money is going to PCRF, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that funds research to improve the care, quality of life, and survival rate of children with malignant diseases. This year's merch is being handled by Fangamer, and it looks like Fred's back. back, man.
Alright, hello, I'm back. Okay, we should be good now, hopefully. Okay, anyways, chat, sorry about that. Yeah, one of these, okay. So, anyways, so this one's pretty, this is like the bare bones shiny hunt. The most basic of basic, which is the, just random encounter. So I'll kind of flex a little bit and, show off here. So I'm started something called a shiny badge quest. And the idea is that you try to get a shiny before each gym. And as of right now, I managed to get a shiny starter. And also have a shiny, I found a shiny Weedle, which I evolved to a Beedrill. So yeah, but I'm using 2 games to hunt because doing 1 game, especially at these odds, is quite painful. In fact, after a while, single hunting is oftentimes pretty painful outside of like certain things they call method hunting. So basically, again, I'll go through each game and kind of explain different. They have certain things called method hunt, or they call like method hunts, and so again, this is the most bare bone hunt where you just kind of run around and hope you run into a shiny and pray. So there's nothing really to it other than just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, essentially, and hoping that you run into a shiny. And if you don't, you just run away. I'm using a GameCube controller, Wavebird, so I can control both games at once. It makes it a little bit easier. But fortunately, what's the best praying method? I don't know. But unfortunately, this is not going to be our main focus today, or it'd be a very boring stream. But unless we get insanely lucky, but we might. Who knows? But yeah, there's different things to do. So again, GameCube method's decent. I have a few DS modded captures, as you'll find out very shortly. The DS Fat, as they call them, or the DS Original, the Chunky Boy. That one is usually the cheapest / easiest to get modded. I've actually modded all of them myself in a certain capacity where I bought the board and then installed it. It wasn't really, you know, the most modding I really did for that was just carving out the USB port and attaching and detaching a few ribbons, which can be annoying sometimes too, but yeah. Oh, really? I haven't seen that one. There's a lot of interesting shiny variants. What's interesting too, in Coliseum, well, throughout the shinies don't change very often through the games. There's a few like exceptions. Like, for example, in Gold and Silver, Charizard was like this Barney purple color, and it was interesting. And then they're like, let's make him look cool, and they made him like black and red, and he looks awesome. But yeah, shinies don't change too often, but occasionally they do. And there's like ones that are kind of odd, like I think Gligar and maybe Gliscor, and then I think Toxicroaks, or maybe it's Crogunks. Shinies are weird. What's my favorite shiny? Probably Noibat. I really like black and teal. That's kind of like my aesthetic. So like any Pokemon that have like any kind of teal colors tend to be really cool. Also, teal's not a shiny color you see very often. You'll notice, again, especially with this game and Gen 1 in general, a lot of Pokemon are like shiny, like are green. And some of them have grown on me. Like I like Mewtwo. Espeon, I think, is one that is like that's like my guilty pleasure. A lot of people don't like Espeon shiny. And first is Ghastly. That's a good one. Gengar, yeah. Well, at least with Gengar, we got Mega Gengar, which is nice. But we'll see if Megas make a return in the new games or not. Spinda, yeah. Spinda's another weird color change. Yeah, a few of them color change over time. Rayquaza, yeah, Rayquaza. That's a good one. No, shiny Pokemon do not have better stats, and that's kind of the nice thing, is that, no, I haven't moved at all, sorry. I'm just, hopefully I'm talking still. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Ultra Moon with 10 ability, nice, yeah. Yeah, generally shinies, yeah, they're the same. Yeah, Wavebird's pretty good. I need to get like a new control stick on this one. This one's like control stick's seen better days. I don't know how annoying that is to replace or not, but hopefully not too bad. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one thing I have to say about like current old shiny hunting, or what they call full odds. So the full odds of the games one, or well, no, like technically one, I guess. I'll explain that in a minute too. Generations, I guess, technically 2 through 5, with the one exception, or two exceptions, I guess, if you consider them separate. And Gen 5, and Black and White 2, not Black and White. And Black and White 2 is when they first introduced the Shiny Charm. And the Shiny Charm, I forgot what the numbers are exactly, but it significantly reduces, or I guess it significantly increases your odds of running into a Shiny, which is nice. But unfortunately, even with that being said, it's still like, I think in Gen 5 it's like 1 in 3,000 or something. But yeah, the full odds is it's 18192 is what they call it. So you have like a pretty much a 1 in 8,000 chance of running to a shiny. So not too great in Gen 2 and 5, but and I don't really recommend it for like people just getting into shiny hunting. Pokefriends. I've been shiny hunting for a few years now. I pretty much I tried it a few times in Gen 6, but I didn't really start getting into it until Gen 8, honestly. Like, I tinkered around with it a little bit in Gen 7, but I didn't really start going hard with it until Gen 8. And then, like, I did it in Gen 8, and then I'm like, okay, this is whatever, and then I started going into other games with it after a while. What's my favorite game to shiny hunt in? Hard to say. I like Gen 6, but I haven't really tinkered much in Gen 4 yet, which is what I'm going to go into next, and show you kind of like the, as they call it, like baby's first, like, full odds hunt. Yeah, hopefully, Father. Yeah, well, I do it as, again, it's kind of like my main gig now these days, and it's one of my hobbies, but I figured it'd be fun to kind of explain shiny hunting a bit more for the charity, and again, kind of encourage people to get into it as well. Because it's a thing I really enjoy, and like oftentimes when I talk to people about it, it's like, well, they're like, well, I've never gotten a shiny before, and I've played through all the games. And it's like, well, true, but like realistically, like in a normal playthrough, you probably don't even do that many encounters, right? So again, like full odds is like 1 in 8,000 in like most of the early games. And it's like, well, chances are if you're playing through, like, if you're just casually playing through a Pokemon game, you'll probably maybe do like 200 encounters, especially in like the newer games where it's like you find the Pokemon you want for your team, and then you just kind of stick to trainer battles because it's more experience. You know? So like realistically, it's very unlikely you'll just kind of casually encounter one unless you're either like trying to complete your Pokedex, or you know, EV training or something else. And even EV training, a lot of people just, that like training on Pokemon is really tedious and not ideal anymore. Like there's a lot of ways to EV train a lot easier. And I guess EV training is another thing. I probably won't go too much into that. It's just like a way to kind of make your Pokemon better. On a Shield, yeah. Well, it's fun. Shield right now, Sword and Shield actually has an event right now too. I probably won't get around to that. I was trying to do that last night. I wasted a lot of time doing that last night actually when I should have been prepping. There's an event right now where one of the dens has a 2% chance to have a shiny Chandelure. So, 2% pretty good. But, yeah, so I think that's enough Fire Red Leaf Green. We'll get into Heart Gold Soul Silver. So let's move over to that. Alright, where is this? This, I know how to fix this. There we go. Okay. Is there any way to get increased odds of shiny? Yes, so I'll go over that soon. So again, for gens 2 through 5, not really. But in some ways there are. So there's a few methods, and I forgot which games they're in. So there's the Matsuda method. Sorry again for the tech people for my various scenes of not having the overlay in the most ideal spot. But yeah, so in Gen 4 they introduced the radar, Poke Radar, and you do this thing where I won't show this one off because it's a pain. I've raged many times at it. But essentially what you do is you use the radar. These you stand in like not necessarily called tall grass. You stand in the middle of the grass, like a bunch of spots. You use your radar. Okay. Thanks, Gear, no worries. Yeah, so Matsuda is Gen 4 forward. Okay. So I'll go over that in a second. So radar, yeah, you stand in grass, a bunch of bushes shake. If you're insanely lucky, one of them will be a shiny bush. But there's like it's hard to explain, but you go in a certain bush, and then you encounter the Pokemon, and then you start the chain. And to start the chain, you have to defeat or capture that Pokemon. And you gotta do that up to you can do that up to 40 times. And the 40, each time you increase the chain, increases the chance that every time you use the radar again, that one of those bushes will sparkle, and then in that bush is the shiny Pokemon. The chain, that method is decent, but there's a chance that your chain will break. And mine, I was hunting Bagon, and I think I was on the 35th chain or something like that. And a stupid Bibarel showed up, and I was pissed. Because Bibarel is dumb, and I hate Bibarel. All my homies hate Bibarel. So, but yeah, so that's one method you can do in Gen 4. I assume in the new remakes that'll be a method we can do again. But there's a few good targets with that, which is cool. But yeah, you can get as low as odds as 1 in 200. And when you reach the chain of 40, you don't have to keep chaining. So you just kind of run back and forth and reset your radar and hope, again, keep praying that one of the bushes. But I think 4 or 5, I think it's 3 or 4 bushes pop up every time. So realistically, it's almost 1 in 50. Why is the video feed double? Because there's 2 things going on. Let me show you. Boom. So this is Heart Gold Soul Silver. This is I think people's the most recommended full odds hunt, where essentially it's a starter hunt, but what's cool about this hunt is you get to see if the Pokemon's shiny from the screen. So it's is it shiny? Nope. And then you reset. But you can see it from that screen, so you don't have to go through all this text and go check the status screen and blah blah blah. Just quick resets. Boom. Back in. Check again. Left. Nothing. But yeah, you can see on the screen if it's shiny or not. So you have a chance. You pretty much can check 3 different Pokemon if they're shinies from the get-go. So. Oh, don't worry. Well, don't worry, Fair. We'll get there soon. Fair Orb or Fire Orb, whatever. Is there a reset counter? No. I won't do a reset counter because it's going to be too annoying to juggle, unfortunately. So, yeah, you get 3 chances. So it's 3 in 8,192. Great odds. So, besides Soul Silver and Heart Gold being amazing games, this is a great, either, first starter hunt and or like just like full odds hunt, because again you can kind of just like quickly check and then reset and keep going. Double battles is great, yeah. So that's in Gen 5. So we'll go over Matsuda and then we'll get to double battles. So Matsuda is probably the most common shiny hunting method. I think if you've heard of shiny hunting, you've probably heard of Matsuda. Matsuda is, I think, the game director. The name of the game director, named after him, I believe. Yeah, we'll get there, Broken Luigi. But yeah, so Matsuda method is pretty straightforward. Essentially, the basic concept is use a Pokemon of your, well, I guess it pretty much just 2 different regions. And the region's just based on the language. So let's say, well, the most common thing people do is they get like, they'll play English game and they'll get like a Japanese Ditto. The misconception I think with that is that it has to be a Japanese Pokemon or it has to be a Ditto. You can use it, pretty much use it with anything. But Ditto's just more ideal. But pretty much you put a Pokemon in the daycare with a foreign game, so it could be Japanese, German, Spanish, whatever. And as long as they're different. So you can have like a Spanish and German or Japanese, English. Doesn't matter, as long as it's not like Japanese, Japanese, English, English. And if you put them together in the daycare, there's an increased chance of, of the egg being shiny. Excuse me. Yeah, good luck getting it pre-Gen 6. Yeah, that's fair. But realistically, if you're doing Matsuda method, there's no reason to do it like earlier than the current gen, unless you're trying to get a specific Pokemon that's not available. But I think you can get everything in Gen 7 or 6 anyways, so there's no reason to really... you know. I would find it kind of asinine to hunt in using this method. Like, it's again, it's a method. If you're gonna use method hunting and want to get it as fast as possible, there's no reason not to hunt in the using methods in the later gens. Again, anything Gen 6 or above has increased odds as well. So again, Gens 2 through 5, technically Gen 1 you can get shinies in, but it's a real hassle. And most of the time, people when they do it, it's like this weird thing where sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking, but at some point we'll focus a bit more on the actual hunt themselves. But yeah, hopefully you're learning things and understanding how the hunt goes. But Pink Onion, hopefully. That's one I'm working on as well. I think I'm like 2,000 resets into that, but one day, ideally. Meaning of life? Kind of. Shiny hunting is life, you know? It's love is life. But yeah, so... Yeah, Matsuda method is it's pretty easy. You pretty much just like get eggs, hunt eggs, or hatch eggs, hope for shiny. But again, you just have to make sure that you have 2 Pokemon that aren't of the same region. And after that, it's pretty straightforward. Having like things like Shiny Charm help and etc. too. Well, it's really easy because it's pretty... Again, it's another kind of mindless hunt where it's like you just kind of run around with eggs and hatch them. And then you get more eggs. So there isn't really a lot of steps involved to getting it started, or to like maintain it, right? So yeah, that's kind of the benefit of doing that, if that makes sense. Walking back and forth, yeah. I mean, I guess the ideal thing you can do, I guess another benefit of Matsuda is that if you are familiar with like the breeding mechanics, you can make a lot more ideal Pokemon, and that's kind of the benefit of Matsuda versus a lot of methods. So you can like breed for like better stats and stuff like that, and then like as you're breeding the shiny, you should have, ideally, even in like a worst case scenario shiny, it should still be really good stats and have like ideal nature and blah blah blah. The only thing that's kind of annoying to like manipulate when you're trying to hatch for shinies is the ability, because a lot of times it's like not the ability you want. Like I hatched a shiny Score Bunny. I was hoping for the hidden ability and I didn't get it, and that was before they added the hidden ability capsule, so I was kind of pissed off about that. But fortunately they added hidden ability capsule, so I don't have to worry about that. So Dynamax, we'll get to that. So that's Matsuda. Matsuda, again, pretty straightforward. It's probably the most common shiny hunting method, and it's used, like, most people I know who've ever shiny hunted at like any capacity probably use that method, like at least like to get started. And that's usually one of the ones I kind of recommend for starting out too. In the latest game, in Sword and Shield, if you do the Matsuda method, I believe it's like 1 in 512 with the shiny charm. I guess it's any Gen 6 or above would be that. So again, for Gens 2 through 5, it's 18192, with a few exceptions again with like a radar hunting. I think they're double hunting is still full odds, but in a few games there's a few places where you can get like double encounters. Like I think in like Eterna Forest. I forgot if it's in Gen 4. I know in Gen 5 there's like a few places you can get double hunts. But you can like you can counter 2 Pokemon at once. I think Gen 4 you can. Yeah, so I think Gen 4 and 5 there's a few places you can encounter like 2 Pokemon at once. And then you can like, essentially increase, that doesn't really increase your odds, it just like increases the, encounter rate. So you can encounter 2 at once. Yeah, you guys taking notes? We're gonna do a test at the end of the stream. Yeah, in Gen 5 they added Horde Hunting, which is where you encounter 5 Pokemon at once. Again, same odds, but you can get like Shiny Charm and stuff that increase the odds with that too. But Horde Hunting is actually pretty fun. Test? Oh no. Yeah, that's definitely a Hope Kappa there. But yeah, so yeah, there's things you can do to like guarantee shinies, but that's not really fun. You might as well just like use action replay. I've done that a few times just because it's like, oh, this is kind of neat, but then it's like, this is kind of lame because it's just like guaranteeing shinies. They have something like that in current gen, and I hate it, is the raids. And I participated in the raids. It's like, oh, cool, I'm getting all these free shinies, but then it's like, yeah, but it's like free shinies. It doesn't feel earned. It's kind of lame. Like, at the end of the day, like, shinies to you are what they are. I don't think, like, me, like, for example, like, yeah, I found, like, shiny Weedle and Squirtle, but, like, it's not any different than me finding, like, a shiny, like, Matsuda egg, A shiny is a shiny, so it's cool to get it no matter, like, regardless of how I get it, assuming I'm not, like, using, action replay or abusing, like, RNG abuse, etc. So... yeah, the only raids I do nowadays are the ones from that have like the specific boosted odds for like a specific event. Like, again, for this weekend they have like a spooky ghost event. Even Pokemon's like ready for Halloween, where there's like a shiny Chandelure, like a 2%. So, yeah, ain't much, but it's honest work, Ultra Worm is best. Yeah, well, that's what's cool about the methods, is that most of the methods, while they increase your shiny odds to get a lot of Pokemon, outside of Matsuda, most of the methods only have specific targets. So they're not necessarily like, oh, goodness. It's like, you can shiny hunt, but it's like, oh, well, you can only get certain ones from this, Oh, I don't, whoops. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I've been, like, pressing my, actually, that's fine, yeah. Okay, good. I've been, like, pressing my Switch controller, like, randomly spamming A buttons since I'm so used to doing it. But I didn't screw up with anything with that, so... when were shinies introduced? Technically Gen 2. You can actually, so for the, you can technically transfer in Pokemon from Gen 1 and they can be shiny in Gen, if you like, but again, kind of a hassle. And again, a lot of people end up using like glitches and stuff to like attempt to find them, like overflow, underflow glitches and stuff. Like, I think the most viable Pokemon to hunt in Gen 1 that could be shiny is Mewtwo. Because in Gens 1 and 2, shininess was determined by something called DVs, which are very similar to IVs. And based on the DVs, that would determine the shininess. So you can check the DVs of Pokemon, but the accuracy is based on, like, the higher your Pokemon's level, the more accurate the DVs are. So, like, Mewtwo is the highest, I think, level Pokemon you can encounter in Gen 1. And if you can kind of match up and see what the DVs are supposed to be for the shiny, and if they match up, then it's shiny. But, yeah, so that's how that works. But yeah, the shinies were officially introduced in Gen 2. But technically, you could shiny hunt in Gen 1 and transfer it and then be shiny in Gen 2. You can play Gens 1 and 2 on the Virtual Console, and that's pretty convenient. So, and what's cool too is, again, I know someone mentioned Celebi, and you can actually hunt Celebi in the Pokemon Crystal thing. So, pretty handy. Hold on, whoops, I screwed up something here. Alright, there we go, okay. Team Gold, yeah. I actually started with Gold. And then I got Silver. Oh, Gold was the one I have. I still actually have it. Unfortunately, the battery's dead, so my save file got deleted. But I'll have to replace the battery at some point. That's the unfortunate part about, like, OG Gen 1 and 2 is that you can't really transfer them up unless you do a lot of, like, questionable shenanigans outside of the normal means. And it's kind of a hassle. You have to have extra stuff and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. But anyways, let's move on to... do I nickname it? No, not really. I actually very rarely nickname Pokemon. I just like having them as the normals. So we move on to Gen 6. I know we kind of skipped a few gens there, but again, generally Gens 2 through 5 are the same odds, and then there's not really too many methods to show off. So this is another method. I think is probably one of the easiest / fastest methods, and I don't even really fully understand this method because it's like, well, you need to get a certain chain of like blah blah blah, but it's like I found shinies in a lot lower chains. I don't think this method is super well documented either, so I usually have a lot of sources I go to if I'm not really sure about like how shiny odds work in certain games or how shinies work. Yeah, some people really like nicknaming. One of these days I'll try a Nuzlocke and do that, but I don't know when I'll get around to doing a Nuzlocke. But I like to watch them every once in a while. They're pretty interesting. I like to watch, I know John Stone does a lot of Nuzlocks. I like to watch him quite a bit, so. But yeah, so we're moving into Gen 6. So Gen 6, what was, I think why a lot of people got started into shiny hunting in Gen 6. In Gen 6, they changed the odds from 1 in 8,000 to like 1 in 4,092, or wait, hold on, 18192, oh, 496, sorry. So 4,096. So obviously still pretty rare, but a lot better. I mean, they pretty much cut in half. That's pretty much comes down to, yeah, 496. Thank you. Sorry, my brain is, it's hard to keep track of these numbers, even though I'm like really good with numbers most of the time. But yeah, so they cut the odds in half. So, but they added, this is the generation they started added like actual like a lot more methods to hunt. So I'm showing off chain fishing because it's probably one of the easiest and fastest ways to get shinies. Unfortunately, with chain fishing, your targets are all water Pokemon, so if you're looking for, you know, specific fire type or something, go good luck. So unfortunately your targets are kind of limited, but it's still a good way to get some cool shinies. So it's good stuff. That's what I was saying. Yeah. So let me go over some of the methods they introduced. So we got chain fishing, which is what I'm going to do. Pretty much the idea is that you keep fishing in a specific spot, and I guess it's ideal to be in rocks or near rocks or something like that. And then another thing you ideally want to have is a Pokemon with suction cups. I think there's a few abilities, but suction cups, I guess, increases like the chance of getting a fish or something. I don't know. There's a lot of abilities have like secondary things to it. So like sticky hold, yeah. That aren't actually guarantees a catch. Well, assuming that you play the minigame right. But yeah, so it won't be like, oh, you know, didn't find anything, I guess. Yeah, so it does like negates all moves and items that force switch out. But there's a lot of abilities have like secondary, yeah, bite, not catch, yeah. A lot of abilities have like secondary things, like magnet pull increases like encountering like certain Pokemon, things like that, I guess. So I don't know. You pretty much like. There's probably a list somewhere that this is X and Y. This is particularly Y. There's probably a list somewhere that like says it. The great thing about this chain though is that you don't, unlike the chains for radar. Oops. Unlike the chains for radar, you don't necessarily have to. You don't have to catch or defeat the Pokemon, which is great. This minigame is gonna be awful, by the way, but one thing about failing the minigame, I would not be discouraged about failing the minigame like I've been doing like 3 times in a row. It's more of an audio cue, which I'm not doing, which is, you know, not ideal, but that's okay. Again, I found like shinies on like really low chains. I don't even know how that works, to be honest, so. But yeah, so just having Octillery, I just use Octillery as my lead, because Octillery is pretty easy to get. I actually got him from Friend Safari, which is another great method that I use, and hopefully I get a chance to show off, but we'll see. Chain of 3, yeah. So yeah, you can find some shinies pretty quick. I feel like this is probably one of the faster ways to get shinies in general of the method. So there's chain fishing is again what I'm doing here. Again, I think it's 20 chain or higher is like the optimal. But again, I found them in earlier, so I don't know if it increases or if you just kind of sit in the same spot for a while. I don't know. Yeah, so there's this. I think they reintroduced the radar hunts in Gen 7. I think there's Dex Naving. I don't really know much about Dex Naving. But I think it's like a weird thing where you like, there's like Pokemon that like show up in shaking grass on like roots, and then if you counter them like a million times, then like it has a chance to like increase chances of having like certain abilities, like hidden ability, better stats, shiny, blah blah blah. Horde hunting is probably one of my favorites. Horde hunting is great because pretty much you use a Pokemon with like sweet scent on a route, and then 5 Pokemon show up, and hopefully one of them shiny. The only kind of one, there's a few encounters with that that's kind of worrisome, mainly being Geodude, and also Zangoose / Viper. And the Zangoose / Viper raids, depending on the game you're in, either Zangoose, there's gonna be like 4 Zangooses and 1 Seviper, or there's gonna be 4 Sevipers and 1 Zangoose. And what happens in those particular horde hunts is that all their homies hate the opposite Pokemon, so all their homies start like ganging up and beating the crap out of the other one, and it's like, oh no, like stop, like that, I'm trying to get that shiny, you know? Yeah, it's the most wild thing, but it's kind of funny that they like actually like integrated like, you know, somewhat of like the lore of Seviper and Zangoose as being enemies, and made it so that like they will again like beat up on the small one, or the, you know, the only one that's in the group. So you ideally, you know, you want to not like with horde hunts, you have to knock out the one that's not shiny, and that's kind of the tricky part. I remember I was actually watching Rosakin. I was like, you know, horde hunting's fun, but I always worry I'm gonna knock out the wrong one. And like a minute later, he did that, and he knocked out the shiny. He was like, no. But fortunately, I think he had shiny charm, and he already had like, it was like a Numel. He had like 16 Numels already, so it's like, okay. Well, it sucks that you killed the shiny, but you already have like 16 shiny Numels, so no harm, no foul, really. But yeah, horde hunts by default use normal odds, though, so there's no like increased odds from doing horde hunts. But if you get shiny charm, it does affect it, so that's always good. There's certain things. One thing to keep in note, though, is that certain things aren't affected by shiny charm, and those being well, it depends on the game, but I think gift Pokemon, and there's also things called shiny locks, which are the bane of every shiny hunter, where certain Pokemon just will not be shiny in their encounter. So in this game, for example, the legendaries won't be shiny. So like if you're trying to hunt Zygarde, for example, or like 𝗖𝗢𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗢, whatever, Xerneas, yeah, most box legendaries won't, you can't get shiny. But it depends on the game. So for example, like I can't get 𝗖𝗢𝗘𝗦 or Zygarde or Xerneas shiny here, but in Gen 8 I can counter them there and get them shiny. So it's like Pog, you know? That's Poggers. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're shiny hunting, is to do some research before you kind of just go at it. I've never done Nuzlocke, no. I talked about that a little bit earlier, but no, well, I talked about the idea of doing one, but I've never mentioned that. I've never done one before, but I'll have to try at some point. Yeah, the bacon bird, our favorite bacon bird. But yeah, I hear Nuzlocks are fun. I'll have to try one at some point, or like try like a randomized Nuzlocke or something, so. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think normal Nuzlocke would be kind of boring, but yeah. Well, they kind of goofed a lot of the methods in Gen 8, but we'll get there. So yeah, we talked about, so for Gen 7, we talked about chain fishing, we talked about horde hunting. Again, radar method's kind of back, I think, in Gen 7. There's the Dex Nav. Again, I talked about it a little bit. Dex Nav is probably one of the few methods I've never personally tried. And then there's another one called Friend Safari, which hopefully we'll get a chance to show that off a little bit later. But Friend Safari pretty much is, there's a thing in the post game of X and Y where you can go into this area and you talk to this lady and she's like, yo, you got any homies? And it's like, no, Sag. And then you cry. But no, based on your friends, on your friends list, each of your friends will have what they call a friend safari, and they pretty much just get a random type. So like, you know, someone will be dragon. Ironically, I think my other DS is this is hunting, but we're doing a lot of talking. Again, it's kind of more of the first part of this stream is mostly kind of a tutorial in some way. So my main focus right now is kind of explaining how things work. Shiny badge Nuzlocke. I see people do that, but they'll do like a modified ROM a lot of times where it's like increased. They modify the ROM to increase the odds, but yeah. So they get like a random random type. And they'll have 2 to 3 Pokemon in their Well, again, I'm kind of explaining shiny hunting, but I'll get to the point where I'm consistently. But thank you for explaining me how shiny hunting works. I'm glad I'm the one explaining it, and you know. But anyways, have we found a shiny hunt? No. We're kind of, again, we're mostly been like doing a lot of talking and explaining how the shiny hunts work. And for those people, again, a lot of people here, I'm sure, have never shiny hunted before. They have no idea what shiny hunting is. So, or they're very intimidated by shiny hunting, thinking like, oh, it's like a 1 trillion, like 1 in a million lottery ticket chances. There's no way I'll ever get a shiny, blah, blah, blah. Again, I've heard like a million times, like, well, I played every game under the sun and moon, and I never got a shiny before. And it's like, well, have you ever hunted? It's like, well, no. And it's like, well, here's how you hunt. And this is how you hunt. No, I mean, I'm saying that I'm trying to explain it, and I'm not as focused on the hunt as I usually would be. And explaining a lot of data is a lot harder than explaining a lot of data and then trying to focus on a hunt. So when I'm done explaining, which I will be at some point, I'll be a lot more focused on a hunt and pretty much being, you know, in hunting mode. So, what's a Pokemon? Yeah. But no, I know a lot about shiny hunting, and there's not much I don't know, other than maybe, like, again, the specifics of deck snapping, because I've never done it before. Because it honestly seems like one of the more tedious hunts to do. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other shiny hunt streams. If you're looking if you're coming to this stream, you know, as the pro 420, you know, I have a full shiny deck that I totally didn't hack and totally legit, bro. You know, I just use RNG manipulation and all this other crap. Then I'm sure there's plenty of other streams on Twitch you can go watch that are doing, you know, shiny hunting. But anyways, I digress. Again, it's more of a kind of educational stream more than a, you know, we're getting 1 million shinies this second right now, blah, blah, blah. But yes, definitely yeah, for charity, so donate for the charities if you can. It's appreciated. Sounds like schoolwork. It's really not. It's really not that, like, it's, again, I'm information dumping, but a lot of stuff's really not that hard. Again, chain fishing, it's like literally just sitting here pressing a button when exclamation points come up. And then, is it shiny? If yes, catch Pokemon. Else, run away. You could literally program a bot to do like half the shiny hunting, and people have done that. There's a lot of like, I've seen like Arduino boards that shiny hunt for people and like different things like that, and it's pretty cool. I don't think I'd use it myself because it kind of takes the fun. It can be tedious. It depends on the hunt, so that's why I'm recommending a bunch of different hunts, so you guys can try out the hunts you want to try out and do the ones you like to do. So again, for me, deck snapping, that one sounds really tedious. I've never really done it before. Not really my cup of tea. Matsuda, I think it's a great starter hunt, but I don't personally like doing it that much because I find running around hatching eggs after a while kind of boring and tedious. But I've also gotten enough shinies at this point that there's a lot of other methods I'd rather do. And even like, so... also radar hunt. Radar hunt can be annoying because it breaks your chain and you don't have much control over it. And it's like, arg, that's annoying. So you kind of have to like, there's a level of skill and reward with radar hunting, but it also requires like a little level of luck. But then there's things like this where it's very straightforward and it's very easy and it's pretty chill. And it's like, oh, I can just sit here, press a button, hope for shinies. So yeah, I mean, the different hunts, you know, different hunts for different people. Again, I think Matsuda is great for new hunters because it's one of the ones that's easier to get shinies from. You can get, again, a lot better, like, quality shinies. A lot of times when you catch a random shiny in the wild, the stats are not ideal. So, but yeah, SOS. I haven't talked about SOS. Catch 1,000,000 shinies and done 10,000. All right, I'll work on it. Well, yeah, that's why I'm explaining it, Mega. So, yeah, SOS is another hunting method they added in Gen 7. Pretty much, you encounter a Pokemon. Ideally, you get it low HP. Like, things like False Swipe lowers HP. Like, False Swipe's one of those moves that, it will never actually, you know, faint the Pokemon. So it's a great move to use when you're catching Pokemon. One thing to keep in mind with that, though, is that while you're hunting certain Pokemon, like Beldum, if Pokemon have things like that do recoil, you want to be careful when using False Swipe. Because if you use False Swipe on like a Beldum, and then they use Takedown, it's bye-bye Beldum. So, like I said, I mentioned with the Sevipers, the Geodude one I didn't really mention, but with the Geodude, there's two issues. With Geodude, in the Horde hunts, it can use Magnitude. So I think there's an ability you can use that like gives a Pokemon like Levitate. So you want to use it on like use that ability on a Geodude that's shiny, because if you know you're in a Horde hunt and some Geodudes use Magnitude and knocks out all your other Geodudes, then that's not ideal. I mean, because then your Geodude's dead, and then it's like, oh, rip my shiny. So also Geodudes can use, in general, some Pokemon have Explosion or Self-Destruct, like Geodude in certain games. So you want to use a Pokemon that has the ability to damp, and that prevents Pokemon from using Explosion. Yeah, it's a nice number there, and the donations. Yeah, I did that too, Alice. I encountered it while I was just training in the Victory Road, and I had like a mini heart attack because I'm like, oh god, please do not use Whirlwind, and I unfortunately caught on the first Ultra Ball. So that was very nice, just like the donation number. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Whirlwind and stuff like that sucks. Yeah, don't assume Sturdy. With Whirlwind, I believe, depends on the game. Whirlwind, in the newer games, if your Pokemon is higher level, then Whirlwind won't affect it. I think there's other moves or abilities that prevent Whirlwind in older games. So that's one thing I kind of recommend doing as well. If you're specifically hunting a specific Pokemon, do a little bit of research before going after it. I made the foolish mistake of when I was hunting I was hunting a Riolu recently, and I didn't realize it had the move Final Gambit. And Final Gambit, pretty much what it does is it commits Sudoku in an attempt to take down the other Pokemon. And that's really bad, because then you can't catch it if it's not alive. So I made the mistake of not realizing that, and then I did reclaim it later, and I made sure to bring a Gengar, because the way to prevent Final Gambit is by having... So fighting moves don't affect Ghost, I guess. Or I think it's a fighting move. So if you use Final Gambit, it would not do that. So reward for my soundproof, yeah. So yeah, it's good to do research, a little bit of research before doing that. I screwed up. Another shiny I failed was Smeargle. So with Smeargle, it only has one ability in its Sketch. And this is another example of the false swipe being a mistake. So Smeargle has Sketch, and if it uses Sketch, it only has one power point. So usually if it doesn't copy a move, it'll fail. And so I used false swipe, or I swapped it to a Pokemon with false swipe because my lead didn't have it at the time. And then so I used false swipe on it, and then it used struggle because it ran out of power points. And then it was dead. And I was like, oh. So, For something that's mostly relatively hard to get, it's good. Again, it's important to just do a little bit of research just to see what moves the Pokemon has, or if it has any abilities that can be problematic. But yeah, so SOS hunting, I don't think I got, again, my thoughts are always like all over the place. Oh, nice, congrats, Dark Bobby, or Dark Boy. Yeah, SOS hunting, when Pokemon's low, they usually call for another Pokemon. You can use this item called, I don't know, I remember what it's called, Chat knows. That like makes it more likely to call on the Pokemon, and also is a good way to like waste a turn, so that you know you're not damaging Pokemon when you don't need to, or you know just want to waste a turn, not like waste resources. Adrenaline Ball, there you go. But yeah, it calls on the Pokemon, and then you knock it out, and then hope the next Pokemon it calls will be, you know, and keeps calling other, you know, it continually calls other Pokemon. You can only call, you can only have 2 Pokemon at a time, but essentially you knock out one, it calls another, or just keep knocking out, you know, whatever one that isn't low, and then ideally eventually call one that is shiny. And that there is a chain, and Ultra Sun and Moon, the chain doesn't reset, but I think in regular Sun and Moon, the chain goes up to 255, I believe it is. Yeah, thank you. So pretty good. 27K. Let's go, chat. Thank you, guys. But usually when you're at like 255, you pretty much are probably out of power points or a lot of stuff anyways, so but yeah, so but it's a pretty easy method to do. I would have showed that one off for the stream, and I've gotten some pretty good luck with those, but it's also a lot of kind of maintenance when I'm so the maintenance for that when doing multi-hunts is probably not really worth it. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I pretty much just found a 5-hour playlist, and it works great. Yeah, I think Shiny Corsola is a really nice one. I actually already have a Shiny Octillery, but I figure this is one I don't have. I was actually hunting a Shiny Corsola in Friend Safari. I found a Shiny Shuckle the other day, but yeah, so Friend Safari, there's a huge list of like Pokemon you can find in the Friend Safari, but essentially your friends will have 2 Pokemon in their Friend Safari by default. They'll get a 3rd Pokemon in their Friend Safari if they beat the Elite 4. And there's like a Reddit you can go to that you can find people like with this specific Friend Safaris you're looking for. What do the little Pokemon look like? Probably a dragon. Wingull, Sumo, yeah. But yeah, Friend Safari is pretty easy. I mean, pretty much you go into the Friend Safari. It's got pretty high odds. I think I have conflicting information on this one. Some people say it's 1 in 512 by default, even without Shiny Charm. I believe it's like 1 in 800 without Shiny Charm, and then like 1 in 500 with the Shiny Charm. But yeah, I think Friend Safari is a great also like early introduction for someone who's like just wants to try shiny hunting. And because it's pretty much just, it's like, oh crap. It's pretty much just like random encounters, but there's only like 2 or 3 Pokemon you can counter. So it makes it really easy to kind of target the Pokemon you're looking for. And then but it also have pretty high odds of, or you know, high chance of getting it as well. Like relatively speaking, again, like 1 in 500 is not like a lot, right? But compared to like 1 in 8,000, 1 in 500 is pretty good. And like, you know, encounters are pretty quick. So like 500 seems like a big number, but it's like, you'll get there a lot faster than you think you will. So, oh yeah, let me retweet that. Speaking of Twitter, that's a good idea. Forgot to retweet them. I'm streaming. Good idea. Yes, 𝗬𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡. There's a few that are a huge pain to get for shinies. Those primarily being Manaphy and Jirachi. And there's probably another one I can't remember off the top of my head. But Manaphy and Jirachi hunts are probably the most tedious ones to do. Manaphy is probably the hardest shiny to get. Because you can only get it... Well, you have to do a few different things. So in order to get Manaphy, you have to get the Manaphy eggs from a Pokemon Ranger game. And the Pokemon Ranger game also has to actually have the egg in it. And to get the egg, I think you have to actually beat the game. And there is a way to check... there's a way to check if the game actually has the egg or not. Like, I think there's like a menu will pop up that someone's already claimed the egg, essentially. So you have to find a stupid Pokemon Ranger game that doesn't have the egg claimed. Which, again, I think they're, you know... I don't think they're extremely expensive or rare, but, you know, you have to essentially buy one that doesn't have the egg. Or doesn't have the egg claimed. So... so then, okay... Full gameplays, yeah. Well, essentially, you claim the egg from the game. And then, so after that... when you claim the egg from the game... to like whatever file you're saving it to, so let's say you transfer it to a platinum, the egg will never be shiny in the game you transfer it to, because it's coded in a way that it like locks the ID of that game. So what you have to do from there is trade the egg to another game, and then it could be shiny in that game. But again, the odds are still 1 in 8,092. So what people usually do when they're shiny hunting Manaphy is they'll get like 4 or 5 eggs. I think it's ideal for 4 eggs because I don't know Dark because with Manaphy is a Pokemon that was in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Manaphy was just an event Pokemon from, like an out-of-game event. So Darkrai, Shaman, and Arceus, technically, were all events that were in the game of Diamond and Pearl, and you can hunt them all. Though Arceus doesn't really count because that was an event that wasn't ever released. But, I mean, technically you can hunt it. But Manaphy was never a Pokemon that was, like, huntable in the game at all. So... yeah, so that's the tedium of Manaphy. So the best way to do it is with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I don't know about Platinum and Pearl, but when you go to trade a Pokemon, if you have eggs in your party, you have to have a minimum of 2 Pokemon. So you can only really do 4 eggs at once versus 5. So the most ideal, I guess, way to do it is to have multiple copies of, like, well, have multiple eggs and then multiple copies of games. How I think my friend Sonics did it is he had like he had 4 games, so he had like essentially he had 2 games that were hatching eggs and another 2 games that were like restarting and getting to the point of the story where you could trade. And so again, when you transfer the egg from Ranger into the game that it's designated, it's locked in that game. But any save file going forward, it won't be. So, like, let's say you transfer into Platinum, you trade it over to like a Diamond, you can restart that Platinum and then trade it back into that Platinum and then try to hatch it again from there. So it's a huge pain. And I think the resets from getting to where you can trade, catching multiple Pokemon to trade, and then actually trading and then hatching, I think is like, I think the fastest they've done it is like 12 minutes. And that's seemingly like extremely well optimized. But yeah, it's 12-minute resets. I guess it's 4 Pokemon at once, so it's like not that bad compared. I guess technically in that regards it might be faster than Jirachi, but realistically it's a pain. So not many people have done that hunt because it requires a lot of work and ideally a lot of games. I think some guy, well, that's Jirachi, I'll go to that one in a minute, but yeah, it's kind of a hassle, so that's pretty much what it comes down to. Because again, you have to pretty much restart a game, trade, or capture Pokemon, trade, hatch an egg, and hope that it's shiny, and a very, very low chance of getting it shiny, so. Jirachi, on the other hand, oddly enough, that's one of the weird ones that has the exception of being slightly better odds. It's got like a 1 in 7,000. 0 total IVs. 0 IVs can actually occasionally be good. I kind of wish they added like a rusty bottle cap or something. But yeah. Longest session. I don't really keep track of like time wise. A lot of times like some hunts take a couple months. If it's like, but it's hard to gauge that because sometimes like it'll be a hunt I'll do every night, or it'll be a hunt I'll like pick up and then take off and then pick it up again. I think it's one of the good, like one of the things I recommend with shiny hunting is it's good to, if you're kind of getting burnt out by a hunt, it's good to either like take a break or to just like try something else. So that's why I also, like a lot of people who do like full odds hunts, like some of them just do purely full odds. What I like to do is I'll do full odds hunts, but then I'll like do Dynamax adventures on the side or like to take a break. Or I'll do Friend Safari because it's like pretty simple. But I don't really know what my highest count was in total. I haven't done a lot of full odds hunts. I know a few of them have gone to like 4,000 or higher, but I fortunately haven't had any like 20k hunts or anything crazy like that. Thank God. I think that's like the biggest fear of like most full odds hunters is like going to like crazy odds. I think the highest I've seen from someone else is like 70,000. I've seen a few that are like 100,000, but yeah, that's like really extreme. Pogo is also a nice way to get shinies or just like cool Pokemon in general. Again, like shinies, like it doesn't really matter where you get them. You know, as long as you like to, you know, appreciate the like a shiny's value is all based on your personal value. My only kind of, again, outside of like hacking, I think all like shinies are pretty much like valid. You know, as long as you're not doing anything kind of like sketch to get it. You know, it's fine with me. You know. I know. Supreme Arcanine, I think he went to like 80,000 for Reggie Steel or something like that. I don't know. It was pretty high. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. The Salmon system? Well, the Salmon system 10 years ago, jeez, yeah. It's all good, dude. 10 years is a long time. People definitely change over 10 years. I'm sure I was a big idiot 10 years ago as well. So, and now I'm still a big idiot, but very much more matured. Oh, oops. Case in point. Yeah, I think, well, Stamina system in Morrowind's pretty awful in general. Big shiny day, exactly. I don't know. I've learned a lot over 10 years. It's been quite the experience. I'd say probably mostly a completely different person than I was 10 years ago. Like, you know, outside just like general humor. Raid adventures are fun. Teamers do dumb things, yeah. I try to stick to AI unless I'm like with a full group, essentially, for that. I think we've done enough of this for now. I kind of cheated on this chat, and I'll let you guys decide the fate of this. So, while I was trying to set up for this hunt, this little man in the corner there kind of showed up, and I was like, ugh. So I'll explain. So this is also the like this is like the de facto, like probably the best game to start shiny hunting in if you're new to shiny hunting. This is Gen 7.5. I don't know what people want to call this. We're gonna go to the polls. But so when I was setting up for this stream, I got a chain of 29, I was gonna say Kirby's. They're pretty much Kirby's, 𝗚𝗢𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗢. I know what most of you are gonna say. But this is fine. This gives me a little bit more time to... Oh, whoops. What the... Tarnations? Hold on. There, you can do a straw poll. Yeah, if I catch it, I will break the chain. And I'll have to catch things over again. And I don't know if I want to do that, because I kind of want to move on to just, like, group shiny hunting. $29 is so small. It's not that small. That's like pretty much max chain. So I'll explain, chat. So in this game, so shiny hunting is probably the best. Why wouldn't I catch it? Well, I technically don't have a Zubat in this game, but I have like 3 Zubats in other games. This game is like probably one of the easiest ones to start for shiny hunting. So how to shiny hunt in this game? I should have explained before putting the poll in the chat. Yeah, but you can't get Crobat in this game, unfortunately. And Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu, there's... Well, this is pretty much the main way to do it. So there's a few things that increase your shiny odds. So you have the base 1 in 4,000, but then you also have the shiny charm, which brings it down to about like 1 in 1,300. And then you also have something called incense, or what is it called? Incense? I don't know what it's called. Lure? Whatever. I'm thinking of Pogo, sorry. So then you have lures. Lures also increase your shiny odds. And then on top of that, and wait, there's more. So on top of that, there's chaining. And in this game, there's catch chaining. And so every time you catch the same Pokemon consistently, as you can see from my box here, hold on. I had like a million Bulbasaurs or whatever. And now I have a million Chanseys and a million Nidorans. And now a million 𝗚𝗢𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗢𝗡. So every time you catch a Pokemon the same, increases your chain. And then when you reach a chain of 31, and note this, chat, 31, then you have the max odds of catching a shiny. Some people keep going for some reason, and increasing your chain past 31 does not increase your odds of getting more shinies. What it does increase is your chance of getting like items or experience or some other crap, but no one cares about that because most of that stuff you're not really trying to get anyways. You only care about shinies. All the other items and stuff you probably don't really need, and you don't really need the experience either. So, I see a lot of people like, oh, I have like 200 chain. Like, why are you wasting all your Pokeballs, dog? Yeah. So a lot of people keep chaining for some reason, and I don't understand why. So when you reach chain 31, you have the max chances, like 1 in like 250. It's like probably some of the best odds you're gonna get in any game, and it's great. So for a lot of new hunters, you come in to play this game, and it's like, oh, poggers, like you get shinies like left and right. In fact, I have so many shinies, I don't even want this shiny. And it's like, you know, what do you do then? Like, let me look at my chances. I think I have like, let me see. Let's see how many shiny chances I have. They're in here somewhere. I think I have like 3 or 4. So many chances. Hold on. I think okay, there's one here. There's probably more down here somewhere. I don't know. Alright, well, anyways, I don't know where they are. There they are. There's 2 more down here. I know, 3 or 4. So I have a lot of chances. I'm doing a lot of different games than Naked. Also, Twitch encourages you to stream in the current directory, because a lot of times the other Pokemon directories are dead. So for the chance of alright, fine, we'll catch it, chat. Okay. Come here, little green man. You're breaking my chain. You're breaking something else, but it's a charity event, so oops. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind, when you find a shiny, a lot of people are like, oh my god, a shiny! You kind of freak out. You want to just kind of calm down. Give him a nice little berry. I don't know what his animations are, so hopefully that's not a bad animation. If you really want to optimize catching too, you'll use the second controller and give yourself a second thing. So now I have a shiny Zubat. And a shiny or not Crobat, the other one. Alright, well, we'll talk and we'll start a new chain. Technically the first shiny, but again, I kind of cheat because I started doing this before the event. In fact, you already started my next chain, Zubat. You'll be my chain man. Alright, Zubat. So, one thing when you're chaining, of course he moves around a lot. Of course he does. One thing when you're chaining is, and when you're finding a shiny Pokemon in this game, Pokemon have different animations in this game. And Pokemon can run away, and that's the biggest deterrent of this game, and that's why I don't always go, like, if Pokemon didn't run away, I'd be like, if you're new to shiny hunting, play this game, shiny hunt in this game. This should be like your de facto game to shiny hunt in, as like a starting to do, like, hunting. Yes, the only way you get Melmetal is through Pogo currently. There isn't I think there's an event in home that gives you I should have just stuck with Clefairy. Yeah, fine, I'll do Clefairy. It's easier. This guy moves around too much. And we're also Mount Moon and we're in space, so it makes sense to have Clefairy. So Pokemon can do 2 different animations. They usually do a base animation just to like be annoying, and so it's hard to catch it. And then sometimes they do another animation where it's like, I'm angry and I'm gonna run away. And when you see that animation, you don't get fired, you quit. And you want to quit because if you don't quit, you get fired and your chain is donezo. And you don't want to get fired. So that's Clefairy's base animation right there, where it just like does the double slap like grr. And it's like, okay, you're not angry yet, but you're just like not happy. So with that, but if you run away, your chain isn't broken. If you encounter another Pokemon, your chain isn't broken. The only way to break your chain is either by like turning off the game system. Come on, stop avoiding me, dog. It's either to turn on the game system or to catch another Pokemon. So again, when I caught that shiny Zubat, unfortunately my chain was broken. But what's great, chat, is if I have a max chain and the Pokemon I'm trying to get in the chain is shiny, then the chain continues. So it's a great way, oftentimes when you're hunting a specific Pokemon in this game, to catch the Pokemon in your chain, and then you'll still have the max odds. So, for example, again, I found a shiny Zubat. The chain doesn't increase the odds for Clefairy, increases the odds for all Pokemon for shiny chance. So, that's the beauty of chaining in that regards. The benefit of catching also Pokemon in the chain is that they have better stats and better IVs, blah, blah, blah. So if you care about that stuff, then that's also the benefit of chaining specific Pokemon you want to do. But yeah, this chaining thing is pretty much exclusive to Let's Go. I think people thought this was a thing in Sword and Shield. That's not the case. We'll explain how disappointing Sword and Shield's shiny methods are in a few. Hi, Chansey. I already got like a million of you. Come here, Clefairy. Also, when you catch Pokemon in a chain, they're also more likely to show up as well. So, if, like, for example, there's like rare spawn Pokemon, and there's also just Pokemon that are rare in general. If you kind of be a bit patient and wait for the kind of get your chain up with them, then you'll get a lot more chances at catching those Pokemon as well. So yeah, when I recommend shiny hunting to new players, I think of games like this. Again, it's pretty easy to get into. Chaining is pretty easy. When you find a shiny Pokemon, ideally you use like a berry just to make it either calm down, but ideally you want to just have the higher catch rate, and then you just kind of want to focus on catching. You don't want to like throw balls all willy-nilly. A lot of times to piss off a Pokemon, the best way to do that is just like throwing balls like oh my god, I gotta like throw a ball like right now, and it's like, and then you miss and screw up. Kind of just like take your time, like just like I usually just do like a down, ow, ideally not on my desk, just like a down, like just I start up and it's like pretty much almost like drop my Switch controller, not really, but but you get the idea. I just kind of like just go down and then, you know, go from there. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much most of the methods explained. In Gen 8, there's really not many methods. There's this really crappy battle method, and at this point, I don't even really recommend it. I think it's honestly easier to just do regular. Like, if you're gonna do the battle method, just don't. Just do, just encounter Pokemon like normal encounters. Fossils. And Let's Go, there's no okay, so there's, I'll talk about fossils here. That's like another good hunt to do. And Let's Go, there's no real easy way to do it. You pretty much, you have to amass a oops. You have to amass pretty much a the best way is to just amass a bunch of fossils and then do them all at once. And then if you're specifically hunting a very specific fossil, I just like throw away or sell the ones that you don't need or want to hunt. But like I have a shiny Kabuto from fossil hunting. Also, fossil hunting, by the way, is full odds in this game. It is not affected by shiny charm. Legendaries are, as far as I know, in this game. Let me see here. So I have gosh. Best is Stantler. Yeah, they're radioactive. So how do you get more fossils? Okay, I'll explain that here. I have all the shiny. I got the raw chicken. That's a nice shiny there. Mewtwo. Meltons. I have a Kabuto in here somewhere. Oh, this is in my party. That's right. 𝗢𝗣𝗘𝗡. Okay, nice. To get more fossils, it's complicated, and I don't really understand how this works. And I've done some testing, and my testing hasn't really... my favorite shiny is probably Giratina for legendaries and 𝗠𝗎𝗏𝗡 for non-legendaries. How to get shiny Melton? There's events that happen every so often in Pogo where you can use the Melton box and it's actually shiny. Most of the time the Melton box will not produce shiny though. And it's like 1 in 60. So you only have like a few chances to do it, which is annoying. More fossils, you have to go to the unknown dungeon slash whatever it's called, Sterling Cave. And one of the floors in the cave, there's a spot that spawns a guaranteed fossil every day, I believe. You can reset the game as long as it's spawned there. You can reset the game, and it's either gonna be like one of the 3 fossils or like a max revive or something stupid. So obviously you want to get at least one of the fossils, but you can keep resetting until you get the fossil you want. Well, kind of a long process. It's more just you have to use the Melton box in Pogo when the actual event is in play, and that's kind of the hard part. Also, I guess the kind of good part about building a chain too is that while you're building the chain, the odds also increase as you're building. So it's not like a 1 to 0 thing where it's like, oh, your odds don't increase until you hit that 31 chain. Like, your odds will be increasing as you're building the chain. Okay, here we go. Durant. Yeah, I like Durant's. It's an interesting one. It's like kind of brown with like green eyes. Heatmore has an interesting one. Yeah, it's like that red. Yeah, it's really weird. So, what I usually do, Green Ape, is like when I'm bored, I'll run around. So on the second floor where that big open area is, in the middle there's like, I think, a chance for it to spawn daily or something. But also... Oh, that was my phone. I think there's a chance for it to spawn like daily, but I think there's also another spot a little bit further near not Articuno. Is it Articuno? No, it's not. I don't know. There's another place down there and that also, no, I guess Mewtwo, right? There's another spot that also has a chance to spawn it. But there's one that I think that's daily. The one down, like the furthest down, is like I think daily. The other one is like, it seems really random, and I don't really know what triggers it to spawn. And I haven't really gotten a straight answer. So doing fossils in this game is kind of annoying, I have to agree. But doing fossils in Sword and Shield is great, because it's really easy to farm the fossils. And then you can get a turbo controller, and then just like farm the Pokemon from the fossils. That's probably one of the other great, like... there is a schedule. I think it's exclamation point schedule. Yeah, so that's kind of the beauty of this game too, is that like when you reach the 31 chain, you can just pretty much AFK and just like wait for shinies. Wait, what was that? Okay. Yeah, the schedule should show in your time as well, I believe. So if you're not sure, like, oh, is this Eastern time? This is whatever time. I believe it should show in your specific time. So hopefully all this stuff makes sense to some people who might be interested in shiny hunting or have done not a lot of shiny hunting or like the idea of shiny hunting but never tried or whatnot. So 31 combo and say, yeah. But yeah, it doesn't take too long to get a 31 chain. I mean, certain Pokemon are harder to catch than others, of course, so I've been kind of lucky on a lot of these, but yeah. But yeah, so I think a lot of people kind of intimidated by it at first because like, oh no, it's like impossible to get, but it's like, well, you saw I got a Zubat pretty easily, and hopefully we'll get more pretty easily as well with any luck, but we'll see. We're almost to the point where I'm going to start just multi-hunting. I just want to get this chain going again. But yeah, in Gen 8, so initially I'll go over like the kind of last methods I know of. There's really not many methods in Gen 8, unfortunately. They try to do this really scuffed method, which is the battle method. The battle method pretty much means, like, how it works is you battle 500 Pokemon, and then you're supposed to have increased odds after 500. But the problem is that they either coded it wrong or intentionally coded it really bad or whatever. But you get, with a lot of data mining, people found out those increased odds only have a 3% chance of happening. So it's like a 3% chance of having a like 1 in like 800 odds without Shiny Charm. And it's really dumb. And you're better off just saving, like, it's honestly probably going to be faster for you in the long run just to do random encounters and hope that you get the shiny along the way instead of trying to do the battle method, where the battle method, again, it's kind of like this one where you have to battle, or, well, I guess you don't really battle in this game as much, but you either catch or defeat the Pokemon. But instead of wasting all your resources and like wasting more time on doing that, you're better off just getting the shiny charm and just doing normal regular encounters, like random encounters, and hoping that you get shiny. I was doing I was hunting a Braviary for you know, 4th of July because America, all that jazz, you know. And it's a nice shiny. It's a nice blue bird, you know. And I got it pretty quick. So, you know, with the shiny charm, it wasn't too bad. Sometimes shiny charms isn't quick. Sometimes it's not, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's still quicker than most full odd stuff. And probably was a lot quicker than me wasting my time, like, battling. So I find the battle method, it technically works, but for that 3% chance, it's probably not worth the frustration. I think you're better off just doing random encounters. But Masuda method still works in Gen 8, so you can always do Masuda method. The newest thing they kind of added to Gen 8, which is unfortunately exclusive to the DLC, is the Dynamax Adventures. But at the same time, Dynamax Adventures are great. I love doing Dynamax Adventures. It's a lot of fun, unless they're against Zygarde. But I paid for my sins of Zygarde and finally did get him at some point, or recently. Because Zygarde is not very nice, to say the least. He kind of cheats. He has 2 AoE moves. One of them that knocks down flying Pokemon. And he's a cheater. And he spams them. So he spams 1,000 arrows, lands Wrath. 1,000 arrows knocks down flying Pokemon, lands Wrath, also AoE. Both AoE moves. So he has a 50% chance of using AoE moves and 100% chance of cheating. But if you have a Pokemon with Wide Guard, then you can protect against that, which is great. But he also has another cheating move where he goes into like phase 2 when his HP gets low, which you can actually skip that phase if you're really lucky and like beat him in like really quickly. But yeah, he pretty much like, he's like, this is not even my final form, and he goes like perfect cell mode, and then he like recovers like a large chunk of his HP. That's like great. Just use Ice type, yeah. Unfortunately, Ice type well, you pretty much have to pray that you get an ice type on your path. Otherwise, it's like, you know, it's pretty much GG. And you also have to pray you get a Pokemon with Wide Guard. But, so anyways, besides Zygarde being a cheater, Dynamax Ventures are great. So Dynamax Ventures, pretty much, they took the crappy raid thing that they had in the initial game and then converted it to like a way better thing. So Ray's initial game is pretty much, it's like, the idea sounds cool on paper, but then you do it, it's like lame as super lame. Necrozma, yeah. That's on one of my lists right now, too. He's not too bad, though. It's a lot easier to find Ghost and Dark types. Out of my way, fools. Any more shiny Zubats up here? No? Okay. I would do a D's joke for that, but you know, it's a Pokemon from Gen 7. One of the legendaries. So the raids in Gen 8, it's like it's 4 people going to like a battle against like a Pokemon. It could be like any Pokemon, like outside like legendaries for the most part. The AI and raids, like base raids, are extremely awful. And also on top of that, the Pokemon that they have in the base raids are, like, they pretty much made it so it's like, yeah, if you aren't raiding with other people or have a really powerful Pokemon, like, good luck on, like, harder raids. What's my favorite Pokemon? Probably Bagon. I always like Bagon. He's like a little small dragon man. You know, he's doing his best. He's trying his hardest. I can relate to that, you know. Hoping one day you'll get to fly. Jumping off cliffs. Probably not ideal, but apparently has rock head, so it's okay. He's got the drip. I don't know. He's one of my favorite. That was like one of the first like dragon Pokemon I thought that was like really cool. Because you have like Dragon, like Dratini and Dragonair, like, oh, these are cool. And then you have Dragonite, it kind of looks a little goofy, you know? It's like, I guess that's a dragon. But then you have like Salamence, and Salamence, since Gen 3, has like reigned supreme as like God Dragon. So it's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And they're like, oh, he wasn't strong enough, we'll give him his stupid Mega form that looks ridiculous, but is like also insanely strong. It's like, dog, like he really didn't need a Mega form, but okay. I mean, I liked the idea of Mega forms, but I don't know, his Mega form looks dumb too. It's like, why no legs? Why he, like, I don't know. Why he moon? Yeah, I think there was, like, people, like, Flygon. I do like Flygon. I feel like he was weak in Gen 3, though. And I think that's part because there was, like, the physical special split wasn't a thing yet, though. Instant ban, yeah. He looks weird, yeah. He's a croissant. I don't know. He's a moon croissant, man. Ugh. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that's a shame. Flygon really was one that could have used a Mega Evolution. But yeah, so raids, base raids boring. It's 4 people against like one big Pokemon. The AI is awful for the base raids. They give you like things like Magikarp and other things that are just like completely useless, like EVs. All the AI spams like support moves, but they're like not good support moves. Even in the Dynamax Ventures, that happens quite a bit, but it's a lot less likely, and you have a bit more control over that. Empoleon. I like Empoleon. I feel like he's a little like underrated for Pokemon. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, Acid Armor. What does that do? Raising his defense stat. Sure, I guess. Gumi's good too. Catching, yeah. We technically caught a Zubat, but again, I kind of got it I found it before the stream started, and I was like, oh. So we're starting our chain again, because we broke our chain to get the shiny Zubat, and now we're hopefully gonna get some more. I've mostly been kind of talking a lot this whole time, again, as kind of an introduction to shiny hunting. Because I figured it'd be more interesting to introduce the idea of shiny hunting more than actual shiny hunting itself. Because a lot of times shiny hunting itself is mostly kind of repetitive. Like, when I think of shiny hunting streams, right? It's kind of like when I watch WoW streams. Like, I don't really watch it for, like, the WoW gameplay. I usually watch it for, like, you know, the streamer. Snom. Snom's always good, too. Though, for whatever reason, Frostmoth is always a debate in Dynamax Ventures, because you see an ice Pokemon, it's like, oh, cool, ice type, and then you get Frostmoth, and it doesn't have any ice moves. It's like, oh, great. Thanks for nothing. Shiny Sandler is one of those, like, really odd color shinies that I kind of like because it's so wild. I think that's, like, one thing. I know people always kind of, like, they kind of dumpster a lot of green shinies because it's, like, one of those things that are so common. We don't really fully know if, like, the algorithm theory is correct or not, where, like, people think that a lot of Pokemon shinies, like, generate through algorithms. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of greens are also, like, kind of barf colored. But I've kind of grown after seeing, like, there's been a bunch of shiny hunts that I've done where I've had a really, really hard time telling if the Pokemon is shiny, and it's very frustrating. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if I, like, accidentally run away from, like, shiny Pokemon because, like, they're very similar colors. Oh, come on. You're the last one. Let's go. Don't give me a hard time. Laser Bark Green, yeah. I like Espeon because it looks like an alien. But a lot of people don't like Espeon. But there's a lot of green shinies that are not good at the same time, too. Alright, so 31 combo. Again, no reason to go higher. Doesn't increase your odds. Let me find a good spot to sit AFK now. We'll go, ironically, to the spot we are, and leaf green and fight red. Down here. This seems like a good spot. There's not too many, like, weird overlaps. So now we just AFK, essentially. But yeah, raids, they have, like, the base shiny odds. And then everyone just... Holy crap! Hey, what's up, dude? And that's it. It's that easy, chat. It's that easy. And this is why it's like, oh, shiny hunting's too hard. It's like, no, just play this game. Easy clap, exactly. And now, because it's part of my chain, any of these other people can be shiny too. And we're golden. And my chain is still in effect. So the only downside of being AFK, if I was in a place where I could fly, it's a lot easier. But now I just kind of sit here and keep trying to run away from Pokemon. So now that we've caught our first shiny, and I pretty much explained every shiny hunting method so far, we're going to go into the ultimate mode. Last shiny method again is, well, raids again. So raids are dumb. People just manipulate the raids. It's very easy to manipulate to get shinies, and it just becomes too easy. Also, raids are boring. They're like kind of just tedious. For some reason, some of the event raids have been weird, where like they've been cheating as well. Where like last event raid, Vanillux could use like 3 moves in in a row, like spamming Blizzard. It's like, dog. Is Zygarde raid for the first time? Well, that's good. Nice, Luigi. Thank you. But yeah, so that's not really even a method. It's just something I commented on. Anyway, so Dynamax Adventure is pretty much like they took that like concept, they made it so you essentially do raids, but you do them like you go into something called Dynamax Ventures, and Dynamax Ventures, which hopefully I'll get a chance to show this off before the stream ends. But essentially, it's like you go into a little mini dungeon. There's like a few different paths. You choose a path, and it shows like different Pokemon on the way to the path. Then you defeat the Pokemon on the path, and oh, did you? Okay, maybe the chandelier for this event's the same way. I don't know. I started looking for that before this stream, but I didn't have much luck, so I'll probably do it like later on my own time. But yeah, so but then you do like you can go in there with like 4 people, and it's kind of a fun little thing you can do with like people online. And you go through, there's like 3 Pokemon, and then there's the boss. And then there's a few different Pokemon on the path, so you can kind of pick and choose. And it's mostly random. There is a list of like all the Pokemon you can actually encounter in Dynamax Adventures. But it's kind of like almost like a rental Pokemon. So you don't go in there with your own Pokemon. You kind of get like Pokemon as you go. And then you kind of strategically plan out like how you want to approach the boss. So again, with like Zygarde, it's like you see Pokemon on the path. It's like, okay, we ideally want to go for Ice Pokemon. And then ideally, if we can actually see the silhouette, go for a Pokemon that has Wide Guard. Because then you want like Pokemon that will be like, or anything that you have to do. So like for Psychic Pokemon, it's like, okay, well, we want to go for Pokemon that have like Dark or Ghost or whatever to defeat it. It's kind of like a roguelike minigame in some ways. There's less random elements. Like, again, all the Pokemon you encounter in there, every time you go into Dynamax Venture, the seed will be like randomly generated. So the Pokemon that will be there will be random, but they're all random from a list of Pokemon that could potentially appear in Dynamax Adventures. So it's not like every Pokemon ever, and the movesets aren't random. Like, the movesets on them will be what they are, always. So you can kind of plan it in that regards. But what's great is that every Pokemon you catch in there has a chance to be shiny, and the boss has a chance to be shiny. So a lot of times people will farm the bosses. If the boss is not shiny, you just don't keep it. Unfortunately, I learned that the hard way when it first came out. So there's 2 Pokemon that I need to get at some point from either another save file or another game, which I'll probably pick up Shield at some point when like the new Switch comes out. Yeah, and there's no shiny locks. So a lot of Pokemon that were shiny locked previously, like Zygarde, are in there. And yeah, the odds are really good. So the odds are 1 in 100 with shiny charm, or 1 in 300 without. So even if you don't have the shiny charm, which 2? It was Tapu Lulu, I think. The pink one, and Moltres. But Moltres I already have, so I don't really care in this game. So like Moltres I'm not really sweating over. I guess it'd be cool catching like a special ball, but yeah, and Tapu Lulu I would like to catch and like cool ball and shiny, because Tapu Lulu also I think was shiny locked in most of those games. So yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon that were shiny locked in other games that aren't shiny locked. So that's kind of the beautiful part about Dynamax Adventures, but also very high odds. So, and again, every Pokemon you catch has those same odds as well. So every time you go into Dynamax Adventures, you can catch up to 4 Pokemon. So then you have like 4 chances of getting a 1 in 100. So every time you go in there, there's a decent chance you might get a shiny. So it's pretty nice in that regards. It's one of the kind of chill methods I like to use. Go away, Zubat. Go away. But yeah, it's also a cool way to catch like shinies for like legendaries that you may not have, or whatever the case may be. But it's also cool to get like random shinies as well. Has anyone got all 4 shiny yet? I don't know. I don't think so. I've gotten 2 myself before. And it was like a Wish Cache and Grimmsnarl. Of course, I picked Grimmsnarl because Wish Cache, you know, sorry, bud, but, you know. Grimmsnarl is pretty sick, you know, so. Getting 3, that's pretty impressive. I'm sure it's possible. I don't know if someone's done it. I haven't really looked though either. I haven't got a shiny. Yeah, you just gotta keep trying, unfortunately. And that's how it goes sometimes. I remember when I did it, like, on the first day, I saw, like, you know, everyone and their mother, like, oh, I got, like, you know, 6 shiny legendaries, like, instantly. And it's like, I got, like, 0, dude, what the heck? I've done just as many, if not more, you know? But, you know, eventually you'll get it, which is great. Again, Zygarde took me a long time, but that's because Zygarde was, like, impossible. But there's a lot of ones that are a lot easier, too, so... yeah. But yeah, that's all the shiny hunting methods I can think of. But yeah, as you can see from this game, shiny hunting Let's Go is pretty easy. And, yeah. So I recommend that if you're kind of first starting, or chain fishing, or Dynamax Adventures as like one of the more modern ones. Unfortunately, again, you need a DLC for Dynamax Adventures. So, you know. Literally impossible, yeah. It took me a long time. So now we move on to the multi-hunts, which this is really not the most ideal way to do this, but we're doing it, because why not? Maximum shiny hunting. So this is like the most unoptimized shiny hunting thing to do. Like 5 games or 6 games at once. But you can do it. What I usually recommend when you're doing multi-hunting, ideally do games that are similar. Or ideally the same. So like, obviously for Fire Red, Leaf Green, running back and forth, pretty easy, you know. And I'm also using a GameCube controller so I can control both games at once. Again, I mentioned earlier that I'd like to get a controller mod for my DS's. So at some point, I'd like to do like a quad multi-hunt there. But we'll see. Also, I think if you don't do anything, don't quote me on this one, but if you don't do anything in a battle with Pokemon, excuse me, ideally they won't run away and Let's Go. But again, I think the more you kind of don't do things properly, then the more likely to run away. That's why I say kind of like take your time and kind of just go slow. Here's a little kind of a neat trick here I'll show you real quick with Let's Go as well. Let's go back to Switch real quick. So every Switch has a second controller. If you shake your second controller, now you have a second thing. And then if you do this, throw them at the same time. Well, hold on. Like, recenter, dog. Alright, we're gonna do the... Boom. Now you got double your chances. Again, there's no harm or foul continuing your chain, but again, this also it'll say you're in chain 2. Also, another thing to keep in mind, when you go in here, it should, if you're not sure about your chain, it says up there at the top left, catch combo, whatever. Words are hard. Also, if you want them to go away, get off the screen so you can look for more. You can just say goodbye. Just shake it again. Shake, shake. And that's how you do it. My for Gen 4 remakes? Yeah, I watched the Direct recently. I'm glad that everything's going to be compatible with home. That's going to be nice. So I'm happy about that. Also, please yell at me if any Pokemon shows up and Let's Go, because I'm probably not gonna have my full attention on there. Like, if any shiny does. So I'm happy that everything will be, including Arceus. I wasn't sure if it was or not. It's nice to see a lot of kind of like unloved Pokemon get either evolutions or different forms. I mean, Growlithe obviously is like, everyone loves Growlithe, but like Basculin, like all my homies hate that. I mean, they don't hate Basculin, but Basculin is like one of those weird Pokemon that doesn't get a lot of love. Also, its shiny forms. Speaking of shinies again that are very hard to tell the difference, that's one of those Pokemon that's like, oh, that's shiny? Like, oh, I guess. Fortunately, every Pokemon I've chose today has pretty good shinies. But that's why I said where I've gotten a better appreciation for green shinies because there's so many shinies that I've occasionally hunted that have very similar shinies, and it's like, ugh. You know, it's like I have to like really squint hard or not sure. I'll actually show you an example real quick too, chat. I kind of had this problem when I was hunting in Fire Red Leaf Green. I was kind of hoping for a shiny Pikachu when I was in Viridian Forest. Instead I got Weedle, which is still good because I think the shiny Beedrill is pretty cool. But some shinies are hard to tell, and Pikachu is one of them. And what was even worse is before I had this GameCube set up, I was using 2 Game Boy Advance SPs. And I'll show you real quick certain things about the SP that are not so obvious, I guess. So hold on, let me get my camera set up here. Ugh, God, my desk is like a mess. Hold on. Alright. This'll do, I think. Hold on. Okay, this is really... Hold on. Alright. Timeout. Alright, let me... Where's my full screen thing here? Okay. Hello? Webcam? You wanna work? Hold on. Webcam is not cooperating. Let's try that, and C910. Alright. No. Alright, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. But anyways, so Game Boy Advance SPs, there's 2 different models. A lot of people don't know this. There's the 100 model, and then there's the 101 model. And specific colors were the 101 models. And the 100 models, the backlit, or the backlight for the screen is very not good. It's like, yeah, for its time it was pretty cool, you know? Having a backlit screen at all was nice. But then it's like, then you see like the 101 model, it's like literally night and day. And it's like, oh dang, like this is nice. Oh, front lit. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Unfortunately, I'm dying. But no, just kidding. I'm fine. Unfortunately for Game Boy Advance SPs right now are very expensive. I remember when they were at GameStop for like 20 bucks. And that was nice. I wish I bought more at the time. Unfortunately, hindsight is very much 2020. Even the year makes it very 2020. But we don't talk about that year. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, even the screen, like without the proper backlit screen, it was very, very hard to tell the difference between the Pikachus, like whether one was shiny or not, because they have very similar shinies. So it's like, oh, oof, you know. So yeah. Pokepark? I don't know. Is it? Zubat. So we got a little about an hour left here. Hoping to get maybe another. Okay, nothing here. But yeah, there's a lot of shinies that are like, you know, Gengar is probably the most notorious. So is Garchomp, with having just a very bland, hardly changed shiny. And it's like, so in that regard, it's like when I see shinies like Stantler or Espeon, it's like, oh, this is kind of ugly, but you know what? At least I know when I find it, I know it's shiny. Because like, imagine finding like a really rare shiny and it's like, oh, is that shiny? I don't even know. And then it's like, oh, I guess it is. And it's like, cool. But then it's like, you know, when you see one that like sticks out like the 𝗂𝗡𝗡, even though that one's not too different, but it's like, I saw, I was like, oh, I see those green ears, like, oh, Poggers, like, you know, that's shiny 𝗂𝗡𝗡, like, sick, you know? Ah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sell it. I'm just saying, like, if you're like interested in shiny hunting, like in older games, and you want to like use a Game Boy Advance, unfortunately, they're kind of hard to come by these days. A lot of shiny hunting in general is kind of hard to come by if you want to do like older games, like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, for example. I fortunately bought these when I was a young lad, and when they first came out, I even have the Pokewalkers and everything still, which is cool. Though they don't, I don't know. I don't really know what I would do with them, you know. I should be using rubber bands for this too to make it a little bit easier, actually. That's actually not a bad idea. Let me get some rubber bands real quick. That's one also kind of a smart tip if you're doing a lot of soft resets. Rubber bands on your LNR buttons make it a little bit easier. I wouldn't leave them on for extended periods of time because you don't want to like break the spring. So, yeah. Kaboom. Yeah, so I mentioned this a little bit on Michael. Obviously, what's kind of hard to account for when you're shiny hunting or just playing the game is that you never know when you're going to run into a shiny. So unfortunately, sometimes you run into shinies when you're not prepared. And that's when you kind of have to pray that you have a Master Ball. You should, again, at some point, if you're like experienced shiny hunter, you kind of a mental note of like what Pokemon might have certain moves. Like, again, if you're running to Geodudes, like, or coughing, it's like, okay, I know in general that like coughings can learn Explode, or like a Geodude can learn Explode. So I should maybe, if I find a shiny Geodude just randomly, maybe it's worth using Master Ball on it and not taking the risk, you know. All right, let me get rubber bands real quick. 1 second. Yeah, we'll have if you're hunting it, then you're gonna have the Pokemon with damp, and that's how you deal with that. But if you're just, again, if you just happen to be like, oh, I'm playing through, you know, Fire Red, and then, you know, I run into this Geodude and it has Explode, it's like, crap, you know, how do I deal with this? Fortunately, the Geodudes here don't have Explode, so. That is something I don't have to worry about, so. So my opinion, again, I've kind of talked about this a little bit, and there are, I guess I'll kind of explain it a bit more. So there are like hunters out there that are like elitist, or about like shiny hunting. To me, I think that's dumb. And I think most of my friends who are shiny hunters, or like more kind of well-known, or you know, people who are frequent or like successful shiny hunters, I guess. I don't really know how you measure any of that stuff, but Yeah, people I know who are shiny hunters usually don't care about this either. It's usually just kind of people who are kind of, you know, gatekeeping in general is stupid. And that's, again, part of the reason why I do this stream as well. It's to kind of show, like, you know, anyone can shiny hunt. And you can shiny hunt in any game. And they're all shinies and they're all cool. So, in that regards, I don't necessarily like think that people who like shiny hunt exclusively and like Pogo, like their shinies don't count or something. The shiny value is, as many of us shiny hunters talk about, it's the value of a shiny is your own personal value. So what you deem, if you think a shiny is really cool, or you like your shiny a lot, then it doesn't really matter. Like how you got it. Again, unless it's like through cheating or something, then I think that's kind of like not cool. But like other than that, doesn't matter if you got it through Pogo, you get it through Let's Go, or if you know, you got shiny Manaphy. I mean, well, shiny Manaphy is kind of an exception. That one's kind of like your god, but assuming you didn't like cheat either. But well, that's one of those things that either they have a lot of money to spend, so who cares, or you know, they're spending their money foolishly, but that's kind of on them either way. I mean, investing in any kind of mobile game is usually not ideal. It's a very easy way to spend a lot of your money. I know I spent a lot of money on Pogo myself. Fortunately, not that much, but I remember I wanted to get Rayquaza really bad. I probably did like 40 raids, so bought a lot of raid passes, unfortunately. But nowadays, I'm like, I kind of like with a lot of games. Like I remember with Overwatch too. Like I remember buying like $50 worth of crates to get the stupid McCree American skin because I thought it was like exclusive. Well, it was exclusive to that Olympic event, and then they just brought it back, and I bought it for like 10 coins or whatever in the normal currency shop. So obviously I wasted $50 there, but it's like, yeah, you know, I didn't get what I wanted. I'm never doing this again. Or I invested as much as money I want to invest into this game. So with like after the Rayquaza event thing, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, okay, I didn't get my Rayquaza. I eventually did actually, but it's like I spent way too much money on stupid raid passes. I'm not doing this again. Yu-Gi-Oh! On the other hand, I will spend money on that game all day, every day. But I also try not to spend a lot of money on that. But I'm more willing to invest into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I get more enjoyment out of it, and I also play a little bit more competitive with that as well. I've gotten King of Games, I think 3 times now. So it's like, if there's a cool deck I want to play, it's like, all right, bet, you know, I'll drop a decent chunk of money to get like all the cards I want, you know. It's Duel Links, which ironically is probably cheaper than actually buying real life Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's like, unfortunately, you know, yeah, I'm a boomer, so I'm like one of those people who hasn't really played like actual Yu-Gi-Oh since like probably a little bit before synchro summoning was a thing. Playing 6 games at once, but yeah, technically. Not very efficiently. But I learned synchro and Xyz through through Duel Links. But Duel Links has been fun. It's been like a kind of a fun like way to get like ease back into Yu-Gi-Oh! As someone who hasn't played since like early Yu-Gi-Oh! So like when people are like, oh, this is how you link summon, this is how you pendulum, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't know. I actually, I have, what's the newest game? Like Duelist, something. Legacy of the Duelist, I think it is. And I played a little bit of that, but I think I got like a decent way through the story, and then I haven't really gotten Like, I tried a little Link summoning, but it got pretty confusing very quickly. So I'm like, you know, I'll check this out again at some point, but... What's my favorite deck? Of course, I'm very much biased into Blue Eyes. I use Blue Eyes to win most of my King of games. Though I really like I feel like Photon Galaxy is like an evolution of Blue Eyes. Oh, whoops. And I feel like Photon Galaxy is quite nice in that regards. Oh, I'm an idiot. I don't think yeah, this is... Wait. Hold on. Oh, no, we're good. Okay. I'm not an idiot. I'm actually a 500 IQ. It's just, I don't think these rubber bands are on well enough yet. There we go. I said... There we go. Use Aeromage. Oh, you're a meta slave. Oh, Aeromage is not really meta, but Harpies I think still is. To be fair, I'm a meta slave too. I mean, Blue Eyes has been pretty meta for a while. But you kind of have to be, which is unfortunate. But that's just how it goes. But I like Blue Eyes. I really like Galaxy Eyes again. I feel like I said, I feel like it's an evolution of Blue Eyes. It plays similarly. Ben Stein for Clear Eyes. Yeah, that's definitely a boomer joke, but I did get that reference. I wonder what Ben Stein's doing these days. He always had that like very monotone voice, like Ben Stein, and you can win my money on my game show. I guess I don't know. Clear Eyes for dry, clear eyes, red eyes, black dragons. Blue Eyes is a better Yu-Gi-Oh mans. Yeah, when you get to Legends, it's tough getting to King. No doubt. Oh shoot, I need to charge my batteries. Oh, is he? Yikes. I mean, not surprising, you know, but like, I know how old he was, like old when I was young, so. He was old when the world was young. I don't even know how to pronounce that one. I know the Ultra Beast. It's okay. It's like a yellow jellyfish man, I think, right? Give me more shinies. Or else. There's a Gorbis. I haven't seen any of these yet. Yeah, this must be a low percentage. Nihil Ego. Yeah, I read it as something else, which I won't mention. But yeah. Shoot. Okay, my battery's dying on my jibs. So I actually have a power brick for this. So let's swap power brick number 1 for number 2. That's one thing I invested in recently, or sort of recently too, chat. It's really nice is USB. No, it's not that. I think of like the anime thing. If you know, you know. But nihilism, then ego. Oh, that makes sense. Different spot? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's not really many good spots in this area, though. TCG, I considered it, and then I remembered I'm broke. So that kind of puts a hole in that problem with that. I can go over here, I guess. This might be a little bit easier. I don't know. I like opening packs, but yeah, like I get garbage most of the time, or I don't really know what. Like, I guess my knowledge of Pokemon cards are pretty slim. I don't know if there's. Yeah, I think where I was at before is probably the best place in this particular cave area. I mean, I could just keep going up and down, but again, I'm kind of... The beauty of this game is that I can AFK. Playing the TCG for Pokemon? Not really. I haven't played that, and who knows how long. I don't even think I really even played it that much when I did. So, it's definitely... I don't know. I always liked... Like, with Pokemon cards, I always like collecting them more than playing. Like, I remember playing, like, the Game Boy game, but other than that, I never really played the TCG. I never really was interested in the TCG outside of just collecting the cards. So, TCG goes sniped. Yeah, I forgot that there's like code stuff too. Okay. Come on, shiny Totodile. Unlucky. Can we hit this LR button? I think I need some, like... Come on, LR buttons. You need to... There we go. Come on, shiny... Corsola. TCP. TPS reports. Yeah, make sure you guys are checking out all the cool merch and donating if you can. Really appreciate it. We are at what? 27. 5. Pretty good. Well, we managed to use one shiny. That's kind of like, well, again, I spent a lot of the stream just explaining things, but at the same time, I think that was important in its own right. I know it would have been cool to get like a lot of shinies, but hopefully people learned a lot about shiny hunting and maybe consider shiny hunting themselves. Would be cool. Again, I hear a lot of times when I talk about shiny hunting, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I'll never find a shiny, or I've never found a shiny, and it's like, well, you just gotta hunt. Just hunt, forehead, you know? It's that easy. But part of it is that. I mean, that's the thing, again, like a lot of people, they're like, well, I never found it like in the game I played. And it's like, well, you probably only did like maybe like less than 100 encounters, you know? And, you know, you can't really expect to get a 1/8,000 thing in 100. I mean, you could, and you could be really lucky, but chances are probably not going to happen. Sure, shiny Zubat, nice. Yeah, it's funny, Zubat's like one of those ones that's like, when you're playing the game, it's like, oh god, Zubat, again? There's like 1,000 of them in here. But then, the shiny's actually kind of nice. I like it. I've actually kind of grown to like Zubat quite a bit. I got a Crobat in one of my games recently. I forgot which game I was playing. It's like, oh, I actually evolved in a Crobat, like, nice. Nice. We're at 30 minutes, okay. So, I hate to give up my chain, but I kind of want to do a Dynamax adventure to show that off. Unfortunately, again, when you turn off the game, so we're at 324 now, so if I don't get something in the next 6 minutes, we'll go switch in the sword and then pray. Oops, I was not paying attention at all. Oops. Too fast, of course. Push mower simulator. Yeah, I definitely recommend if you have a mower. Whoops. Ones that have like self-propel really help with that. Can you join? I would, but it's gonna be kind of hard to get everything set up, and I think for the sake of time too, doing with AI is a little bit faster. Because I don't have to deal with the animations. I might actually run out of time if I do get people in. Or any other time I'd say for sure. But yeah. Will it be a 7-screen? No, I just have to, my Switch, I don't have a second Switch yet. So, again, I'll have to kill my chain in Pogo. And that's gonna be sad, but you know, that's how it goes. That's right, though. We got a shiny out of it, so I can't complain. What in tarnation's going on here? Yeah, well, I mean, it helps, like, be able to coordinate stuff, I guess, with Dynamax Adventure stuff, and also people who know how to, like, play the game for the most part. Like, they don't have to be, like, experts, right? But, you know, basic understanding helps. Oh, another one! Nice! Eat the berry now. All right, now we can have a Clefairy and a Clefable for the old shiny decks, you know? Another one. Like always, Zubat. So yeah, like I said, pretty easy to get shinies in this game. Chain continues, that's correct. Chains of Fate. Speaking of Chains of Fate, I've been really enjoying Final Fantasy lately. I just finished, I guess the base story for Heavensward. For Final Fantasy 14. But like Heavensward is like my expansion, you know, it's all like dragon stuff. So like, hell yeah. That's all I'm about. Oh, yeah, I haven't saved in a while. I should do that. Probably a good idea. It's one thing you should always do too after you catch a shiny is to save, like ASAP. Yeah, I started getting into it pretty recently. WoW was kind of just getting boring. Most of my friends stopped playing, like, you know, even before a lot of the stuff we'll talk about. Yeah, like 9.1 just looked boring in general too. So I'm like, about time I try out Final Fantasy. I'm enjoying it. I've been playing Red Mage. I really like the idea and like how Red Mage plays, you know. Red Mage with, it's like magic swordsman, and like I love magic swordsman stuff. Like that's my jam. So And then I even got a healing spell recently, so I'm like, hell yeah. Like, you know, I can do damage. I can heal if I need to. There's a few times where my healer died, and I'm like, I got you, dog. Don't worry about it. And then we beat the boss. And it's like, yeah. No healer, no problem. Well, I just really love, yeah, spell swords, magic swordsmans. You got a t-shirt? Nice. Very nice, yeah. Guys, make sure to definitely check out the merch. And donate if you can. Yeah, I don't think I'm high enough level for that yet, but I hear that's a thing. Alright, we are at 330 points, so we are gonna swap over to sword and also probably do like a few more fishing encounters, and then we're gonna just take a quick run around real quick, see if we find something else along the way. Let's go well. We got 2 shinies so far. Technically 3, I guess, yeah. Oh, let's go. No surprise, honestly, but I mean, there's been times where I'll sit in Let's Go for like a couple hours and get nothing either, so you never know. So the fact that I got it in this time is pretty good. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, we save and we swap to sword for a little bit. Do some Dynamax. I mean, I could have more games, actually. I do have another DS capture that I'm not currently using. I mean, I'm using it, but it's not, like, being used in the current setup, if that makes sense. Alright, well, rip chain, but, you know, chains must be broken. But yeah, I'm enjoying Final Fantasy. It's nice to have, like, a more story-oriented game, too. It's like I'm playing, like, a normal Final Fantasy game, you know, almost. And the story's been pretty interesting so far. Like, there's definitely some parts that kind of get a little bit, like, there's, like, lulls, I guess. Usually, like, in between, like, the patches, and, like, but then, like, certain things, like, it'll be like, oh, you know, shoot. Like, things are getting really exciting now, you know? They'll, like, pick up again, so. But I think through most of Heaven's Sword, I've been quite, lulls, yeah, exactly. Omega lulls. I've been pretty engaged, but again, anything related to dragons, like, duh, I'm gonna be engaged, you know? Like... But there's been some pretty cool parts, and some cool characters, and some cool things like that happen. It's like, yeah. You know? Is it? Yeah, I just started that Throw Me Into Space, or I assume that's what I'm at right now, so we'll see. But I've been pretty adamant about avoiding spoilers, even though I sometimes accidentally come across a few. It's like, oh, oops. So. Oh yeah, I have to use a full controller for this here, huh? Whoops. That should be fine. Ah! My desk is like a mess. Alright, so here is the Dynamax Adventures. We'll go with Necrozma, I guess. Oh, that's all good. I appreciate that. Fortunately, I've also... trying to use Twitter less, too, because it's just... I don't know. It's a mess, too. But, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been slowly making my way through it, but I think I'm making good progress. Like, I kind of blew through Heaven's Sword, I feel like, compared to, like, ARR. Fall Behind You, yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, unfortunately, when I invite others for this time. Darkest Lariats, probably pretty good. So, yeah, when you get on this screen, you get to pick and choose from a hand list, and then you have AI if you don't go on with your homies. What's great too is that there's a few that are sword and shield exclusive, but you can get if you have someone who has shield, then you can just like yoink their shield mons and like, yo, give me that like Kyogre or whatever, you know? Yeah. Well, we won't go too much into that, but yeah. Okay, it's 334 right now. So maybe we'll swap over to Friend Safari for like the last 15. When you're in here, I always recommend Dynamaxing if you're solo, because there's really no reason not to. We're fighting dark, so we'll use fighting to increase our attack power. Are there any good strats for doing Dynamax solo? Well, mostly it depends. So you can kind of manipulate your seed with solo / Dynamax Ventures. Like, for example, a lot of times, like, even for Necrozma, certain Pokemon I will hunt, I want to catch them in a special ball. So Necrozma I want to catch in a Beast Ball, but I don't want to waste my Beast Balls every time, because they're quite expensive to replenish. They cost like 200 Dynamax or whatever. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to waste it. So when I see him on this last screen, if he's not shiny, whoops. If he's not shiny, I say, nah, dog, and then I reset. One thing about that is, when you reset, you'll get the same seed every time. So then you'll run into the same Pokemon, and every time you do that same Dynamax Venture, or any other Dynamax Ventures you do, until that seed is like broken by either catching the Pokemon and saving, or by failing and then just creating a new seed. Mount Mars Shiny is yellow. Ultra Ball it is. When the seed resets, we gotten 3 so far. Probably not another fighting type would not be good, so we'll go left. We'll get giant Spider-Man. He might have a bug move. I think he actually does. So bug is good against Psychic. Nah, dog, I don't want to trade. Also, when the seed, you keep the same seed, the AI will pretty much always act the same in regards to picking Pokemon as well. So you can kind of work around that, and maybe hopefully kind of like mess around and test. But yeah. Yeah, well, the normal raids I don't even bother with anymore. The rare occasion I do is like, I gotta use Dark Move, okay. Is like, if there's like a specific like a shiny events happening. Like right now, again, there's a event where you can get a Chandelure or a Chandelier or whatever at a 2% chance to encounter him. Also, another kind of tip is to conserve your power points if you're gonna like use a Pokemon throughout the entire thing. So like Darkest Lariat, it's the only move I can use here, but I don't want to like spam it all and then have none for the boss. Especially the boss has pressure. You have to keep that in mind. That's one of its abilities. So Giratina, I know I have to be a bit more conservative with my power points. Is it Darkest Lariat? I don't know what it's called. English is not my best language. was my only language. Yeah, I gotta keep your PP. If you can kind of plan you being able to Dynamax on the boss, that's also kind of ideal. But again, you should essentially use your Dynamax immediately on the first Pokemon. This guy's purple. So we'll use Heal Ball. I probably should use a Master Ball because I'm going to use a reset anyways if it doesn't. It's my best and only language. Well, the annoying thing... Oh, I already have a shiny Chandelures from... Oops, I don't know what I'm doing. From some other stuff, but... I'm gonna take Bugman because... Well, no I'm not, because I have Dark. And I think that still makes me immune to Psychic types, so... Easy clap. Normal or flying? Well, we want an item, and I don't... The trade Pokemon is always a Gambo. So it's hard to see here a little bit, but hold on. I'll do the switch thing real quick. So, so the lady wearing the brown clothing, she always has items, and these items are random. None of these are all that great, so we'll go with Shell Bell, I guess. And then the lady in white has, she'll trade you a Pokemon, but whatever you get is going to be completely random. I mean, from, again, the list of Pokemon that are available in Dynamax Ventures. Blue Cow would be cool. So I could use Dynamax here, but we're almost at the boss, so I'd rather just save it. Okay, what happened to that? Hold on. DS, come back, dog. Alright, I gotta click it. There we go. Alright. Dynamax is pretty chill though, because like it's something that, like, because the turns take so long, it's something you can kind of do on the side as well. So a lot of times, like, I'll just be doing it and you know, hit A whenever it's my turn to do a move or whatever, and then go back to doing something else, you know. Oh, you're still... Okay, that's okay, actually. This works out. But we're just gonna bullet punch him, because he's... Oh, yeah. Priority moves also can be really important, too. Because, like, in a scenario like this, where that bullet punch should have been enough, sometimes that is enough. So keep that in mind. Also, Max Guard can be your friend on occasion as well. Yeah, fortunately it's not Whitney, so we are a bit more prepared to deal with this Miltank. Here we got Shiny Zubat and 2 Clefairies. Of course, okay, good. So our other dark type Pokemon will be able to do things. Yeah. Alright, Necrozma time. Yeah, that's called the Cute Charm glitch, Neuro. I believe it uses the ability Cute Charm, not Synchronize. But essentially, all right, we'll coach, and then we'll Dynamax. Yeah, it's really, really high chance. Like, if you have like a certain ID or something like that, if your secret ID is like a certain thing, then like you'll have really, really, really high shiny odds if you're using the Pokemon. It's like, yeah, it's like 20%. Like almost every other encounter is like a shiny. It's kind of crazy, but it's so crazy and it's a glitch. So I think it'd be cool maybe to have a save file with that, but I would never like really use that game personally because it's just like, yeah, literally, like almost every other Pokemon is gonna be shiny, and it's just kind of like not fun. Okay, so no luck fishing, unfortunately. I'm sure we probably would have gotten something if I was more focused on fishing, but it's a bit more advanced. Okay. Where's my other DS here? Okay, so I need to get into Friend Safari here real quick. Let me turn this off. How many shinies do I have in total? A lot. I'll show off some of the stuff I have pretty shortly, actually. But most of my shinies are from the modern games. As you can probably imagine, it's a lot easier to get them in. Alright. Beast Ball and Prey. Not shiny, not shiny, not shiny, not shiny. Satch. Unlucky. That's how it goes. Alright, so again, waste a Beast Ball. I'm gonna reset. I probably have time for like one more Dynamax Venture. If that. We'll try to rush through one. Yeah, so if you do quit though, you get penalized. The first two times you quit, it's like, okay, well that was bad, but don't do that again, kind of thing. Like after that, it's like, well, then they start charging you Dynamax ore, and it's like, oh. Hold on. Meryl, yeah, we were talking about like the exploding shinies. Not optimal. Deep green, yeah. Well, I could get one, technically. Oh, there's a rock one I had here. I don't know where it is. Not that one. That's the one, okay. So your Friend Safari is linked to your 3DS, and so try to swap between 3DSs. Alright, I have to swap to my other old 3DS to get into the Friend Safari I want to be in. Alright. End this guy quickly. Running low on time. You guys like the time I have in Friend Safari there? Nine hours. Alright, well this is a Friend Safari, but we're gonna show off some of the shinies I've caught from this thing alone. So we have Relicanth, Camerupt, War Total, Auxiliary, another War Total, Bergmite, Panseer, Quilladin, Thangela, Seal, Charmeleon, another Charmeleon, Goodbite again, Basculin, keep pressing A here, Poliwhirl, Poliwag, Larvesta, Jujugan, Noibat, Barbaracle, and Shuckle's our most recent one here. That's some other ones. Hold on. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, here we go. Another Jujugan, Ditto, Gyarados, Kecleon, Mareep, Shelgon, Lampent, Riolu, Pancham, Brexen, Wartortle, Cacturn, Dwebble. I got this one actually when I was trying to work on my Pokedex. That was kind of nice. Dwebble, Uwu, Meditite. This one was actually, this was my one I got just completely randomly when I was going through my playthrough with Meditite. Roggenrola, this was a Horde encounter. Dratini, Lampent, Punkaboo. How's this guy not dead yet? Sphealgan, Beartic, Shuppet, Fantup, Spiritomb, Horsey, Alomola, Skrelp again. Hold on. Come on, where's the heal ball? Okay. Shelder and Breloom. So, quite a bit. Let me reset again here. Most of those are from either fish chaining or so like most of the water Pokemon are for fish chaining. Then there's we're cutting it close on time, but I think we'll be okay. Life Orb, okay, that'll speed things up a little bit. From Friend Safari. So here's the Friend Safari. It's just this little patch. You go in this house. Oh right, I swapped my bike out for the fishing pole. But yeah, it's just kind of random encounters and pretty straightforward. In these little area, and then again you have different Pokemon you can get. But it's pretty high odds, and you know, oh, I'm dead. Rip. Might actually lose this one. Yeah, I got a blue Shuckle. That was nice. Yeah, in this particular one, there's I hate it. Yeah, I hate it too. There's a Boulder. I'm just gonna Milk Tank. Stop being tanky. I know it's like in your name, but it's starting to piss me off. Stop missing. There we go. Oh yeah, wait, Corsola. That was the other one. But yeah, I recommend Friend Safari. Again, it's pretty straightforward. Just running back and forth, and hope you get shiny. But again, you have a lot higher odds, so you know, you never know. I've gotten like 60 Pokemon almost, if not more, from it. So pretty good. I am low on lives this one though, so hopefully we can beat Necrozma, but we'll see. Blue Cow would be nice, yeah. If not, either hopefully we. Oh, that's right. It's not Necrozma. It's Latias, right? Hopefully we beat Latias. We'll see. We're just gonna spam attack moves. I might have like 1 minute left to do flex my Sword and Shield Pokemon, but we'll see. Yeah, Pokemon Go is decent. There's another community day coming up soon. Dream World abilities? Yeah, well, they're called hidden abilities, which were kind of first introduced in the Dream World. But yeah, I think same concept there. Ow, stop. No paralyze, please. Oh, okay, yeah, paralyze for you, that's good. No paralyze for me. Alright. I Dynamax, but again, he's almost dead. Let's just go for it. And he's paralyzed, so we should have the speed advantage. Alright, fastball. Please. But yeah, I want to thank you guys all for hanging out and chilling. Hopefully, again, you guys learned some things. I'll be wrapping up here in pretty much just a minute, and hope you guys had fun. maybe give it shiny hunting a shot yourselves. At least a lot of the newer games are cheaper, easier to come by. I know a lot of stuff you can get on the eShop, so you don't have to worry about like buying insanely overpriced like stuff. No shinies, but that's okay. I'll do a quick thing of flexing, and then we'll call it a day. So, though, yeah, I mean, obviously I've gotten a lot of these shinies over a long periods of time, but at the same time, I mean, this is like a long time of collecting. But you can see how many shinies I have too, which should be inspirational. Like, oh, this guy has like 1 million shinies, like I can get shinies, you know, too. Easy clap, you know. So in that regards, yeah, there's like, you can just get like 10, like just do Dynamax adventures. Here, hold on. We'll go to switch mode real quick, and then we'll call it a day. But yeah, just got like tons of these from Dynamax. You know, cool. This one I got from random. This one I got from Pogo, actually, or Let's Go. That was from these are from Matsuda. That was from like actual farming. I think that was from an event. That one I caught randomly in the. This was an event. The granddaddy himself, finally. That took forever. Yeah, tons of stuff here. So, but yeah, thanks for chilling. Yeah, I got Kyurem too. That was nice. But yeah, as you can see, I have like, you know, there's tons of shinies. We'll show off the cool ones because again we're out of time. So, Entei, good old Rayquaza. Virizion took me a while, but it looks really cool too. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I think I just say goodbye and then we're done. As far as I know for things. So, you guys have a good one. Peace out. Keep on chilling. Tell your friends, come over and hang out, donate, get some cool merch, etc. And peace.